Well, good morning, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. For those of you that were just sitting on YouTube or any of our social media platforms, just kind of watching nothing going on, that was because I hit the wrong button. And now we're
I
here.
say that was the longest backstage I've ever been. I almost went back to bed.
I am Barrett Gruber. I'm host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me on social media at Barrett Gruber. You can also see Mr. Bill Kimler, who is here with us. I feel like I'm a little loud this morning. Mr. Bill Kimler, of course, host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks. You can follow him at politicalbillsc. Bill, fantastic episode last week.
Thank you.
I did finally get an hour and like 15 minutes to listen to it yesterday. Very much enjoyed meeting both of your guests, and as my memory does, it fades on what their names were, but they were really
Well, see,
good.
now I'm wondering which episode you listened to, because we only had one guest last episode.
No, you had there was a guest. There was two segments. One of the second one, I'm thinking the second one was the one that that hosted the 50-51 rally.
That was the only guest we had last episode.
Guest. Okay.
Yes.
It was the same person. Well,
same person the whole episode.
She was so good, I thought she was two. So good, I thought she was two. Real quick, because we're trying to drive some people over a direction. I do have a confession to make. I own not one, but three of the ZJZ Design featured t-shirts. I have Lenny the Leprechaun. I have Tommy the Turkey. I proudly wear them in public. These are shirts that are hilarious. They're super soft and more fun than anything I've seen at the mall. If you want to stand out, like best dressed at the family dinner, kind of stand out, I guess, you can head over to zjzdesigns.com. They've got designs for every season. Trust me, you're going to wear one of them for sure. Also want to remind everybody that the 10th Masters of Putt Putt is going to be here on Friday, August 22nd at Frankie's Fun Park in Columbia. Register your 3-person team by August 21st. Costumes are encouraged. And there will be prizes for best dressed. So bring your A game and wardrobe. Bill, you are more than welcome to come and be on a team at the Frankie's Fun Park for.
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of time today. That was a great show. Barrett, it was good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it was good. Jessica Child says hello.
Hey, Jessica.
So Bill, you've pretty much have an extremely busy week coming up.
Well, first I'm going to circle back and cover some old business. I want you to notice what I'm sporting in today's show. Do you recognize this?
I do.
Right.
I washed mine this weekend because it had the sweat stains on it.
Okay. So, well, that's a little TMI, but good to know. But I bring this up because I discovered over the past week that you have been hawking Black, White, and Blue in the South merchandise. Hats, shirts, mugs, bras, whatever. You have used our image and likeness and logo to increase your personal wealth. You practically held a meme coin dinner at the White House. It was that level of corruption, and I'm quite upset by it. And I am a team player. See, I went and bought your hat.
That is true.
I've also gone ahead and bought a hat of my own damn podcast.
Oh, fantastic.
To enrich your damn pockets.
That's fantastic. Actually,
so just letting you know.
So also to let you know, any of the proceeds that we make actually go just paid for the distribution and production, as far as like Riverside and Captivate. So that's ultimately where all of that money goes. Ultimately, we just want to break even. That's one of the reasons that we encourage people to become members of the podcast.
You're sitting on this show hawking your mother's T-shirt so that you can be insured of a wealthy inheritance down the road. And now you're making money off of the hottest podcast in the potosphere, Black, White, and Blue in the South, to the point where I actually have to purchase my own merchandise. That's how sad this arrangement is. And I had to uncover it. You never brought this to me. I had to discover it on my own.
Yeah.
And so I sent that to Jamil. She was ready to file a lawsuit. She was ready to issue a cease and desist. She was hurt. And you have some bridges to mend here, buddy.
Just welcome surprise guest, Jamil Brooks. No, I'm kidding. Doc is in the office. Yeah, no, I if you go to merch.theallaboutnothing.com, you will find variations of what is available as far as t-shirts and so but you have to go searching for black, white, and blue in the South. You have to go searching for what the pot is that because it's not it isn't a direct link to any of the other podcast stuff. But there's also I wear it all the time. I wear my
All right. So not only are you making money off our brand, you're actively suppressing it. I don't understand your business model.
Trust me, our accountant doesn't either. No
Oh,
clue.
yeah.
No idea. No
But hey,
idea.
circling back, you opened up with a different topic.
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten that out of my system. Yeah, busy week. Actually, I'm on vacation right now.
Oh, are you?
So I took the week off.
You are on,
and
so you're on vacation, and you still showed up to record with us today.
Listen, if I retire and I hit the lottery and I have no obligations in the world, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
This is what I would do. Doing these shows with you, doing it with Jamil, best times ever. And in fact, after this, I am going to go to the editing room and work on our next episode, which we've already recorded, by the way.
Did you recorded this weekend?
We recorded both episodes at the same
Okay.
time. So we did a two-parter. We did a lengthy studio session, 3+ hours, recorded 2 shows back to back.
Great.
And it's kind of like what Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings. You shoot
Sure.
them all at once.
Yeah, because you never know how long Christopher Lee's going to live. Oh wait, he's dead. You never.
But
know
that
how
episode
long
will come
Gandalf's
out
gonna
not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday.
Okay. Very good.
So I get to relax a little bit, but I can't wait to hit the editing of that show. But tomorrow I hit the road. I've got a 16-hour drive ahead of me, Barrett. I am heading from deep old South Carolina all the way up to Albany, New York, and I'm doing it on the road. So I'm driving up there for my daughter's wedding, my eldest child, my first one to get hitched, and I can't wait.
For several weeks until you corrected me, I absolutely thought that she was engaged to the one that had the one that had your birthday, that loved the Eagles, that was basically your 20-year-old or your 30-year separated twin. And I was like, that is incredible that with all of the everything to show that this individual is basically a reproduction of her father. She's still marrying this person, only to find out that it was a very brief relationship.
No, that was the middle school stepchild that went through that. She's nowhere near getting ready to get married at this point.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Jess also says, congratulations, Bill. Throw that one up on the screen there.
Congratulations. I'm tens of thousands of dollars poorer now.
Do you want to disclose? Do you want to disclose how much a wedding under Trump's tariffs costs?
Well, considering her fiance is an import, there's a lot of tariffs. Legitimately, and I shared this on my episode, his parents are immigrants from El Salvador.
Yeah.
So his family is El Salvadoran, and there's lots of tariffs on this family to bring them in. In fact, ICE might be at this wedding. So we're going to have to play it safe.
I hope not. I haven't, I don't think I shared this with you yet. Well, I know I've shared part of it. So, Zach and I occasionally will do these bets on football. And if we think about them early enough, then we can come up with some pretty unique.
These prop bets is what they call them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't come up with the one for what is going to happen to Zach if the Falcons win both games versus the Panthers. And that's a toss up. Both teams are pretty bad. But
you are a Falcons fan. He is a Panthers fan.
That is correct. And so early on, Zach made the determination that if he is to win, if the Panthers are to win both games against the Falcons, which we won't know the outcome until end of December.
Real clash of the Titans right there. That's riveting football.
you take what you can get. Then Zach would have to. Zach wants to dye my beard jet black. And I said, I think that's a fantastic idea. So I asked,
wait a minute. He wants Does he just want your beard dyed black, or does he want to do the dyeing? He wants to dye your, like, he wants to put hands on Barrett's face with the dye and make it black. Which was it?
You know what? I hadn't actually given that consideration. We'll have to clarify that part. He probably doesn't want to touch my face. He probably would prefer that I do it or someone else
Okay.
do it. So I decided that because I have spent 2 months now not trimming it, and it's I have a brush here that I'm constantly like, and I don't know, is this gross? Is this gross to watch people doing this?
Well, when you kick the fleas out, it's actually good for you, so that's fine.
I have decided that I'm going to grow it out until it gets dyed. And I'm not going to trim it. I'm not gonna touch it up. I'm just gonna let it go crazy. And I asked AI this weekend if it would be so kind as to, based on all of the variables already in place, if it would give me an image, assuming that I don't touch it until January, based on the time again that's it's already been growing. And this is what it's come up with.
Didn't he just pass away this past week? Is that the Duck Dynasty guy? I think that's the Duck Dynasty guy.
We could talk about that here in a second. But this is what AI thinks.
All right, so you uploaded your own image and then said, Chat GPT, please render me an image, what, 5 years from now, 6 months from now? What was the
like 7-8 months from now?
Wow.
This is what it came up with. And and looking at that, it also aged me about 10 years.
Well, it looks like you've seen some shit. That's what that picture looks like. You got that 1,000-yard stare. You have just survived the Trump Civil War. That's what that face says.
Oh, I don't know that that's going to be over in 8 months. I think we're going to be just getting to the point where it's kicking off in about 8 months. Well, maybe 1 year in. I figure 1 year in. But yeah, so that was that was what AI did for me. So the end game is basically, how much dye is Zach going to have to now buy with a beard that's about a foot long? That's ultimately, I don't know that I can do it. That feels like a big ask on my psyche.
So what,
to try and grow that out.
What again? What was the
Panthers
bet for him if he lost?
So I'm still working on that one.
Oh,
I'm still working on that one.
It probably involves him touching your beard and dyeing it black too, doesn't it? So either way, you're getting a long black beard. I got you.
It's not a bad idea. I'm going to put that one into consideration. You had mentioned, I think last episode, that you hadn't really gotten any feedback on some of the programs that we have done here, and I did want to read you at least a couple specific to the Kind of Daily Show. So we got.
Are these also Chat GPT generated?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, these are legit.
So as far as I know, I pulled them. So Pocket Podcast was where I got 2 of them. So we got 3 stars from Anonymous. It says these guys are hit or miss for me, but when they hit, they're gold. No, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. These guys are hit or miss for me, but when they hit, it's gold. Great chemistry, solid takes. And when they go off script, it's chaos in the best way. So that's not bad.
That's all on you, Barrett. When you go off script, buddy. I am always on script.
I'm constantly off script. And then a unique one, which I'm going to say probably needs to be some psychiatric work checked. But 5 stars from someone named Caffeine Queen.
Yeah, that's already suspect.
It feels like it. I've replaced my alarm clock with this podcast. Nothing wakes you up like Barrett's voice, Bill's one-liners, and a bit of snarky news to jumpstart your brain. Keep it coming.
All right, you wrote that one.
I did.
Holy cow.
I didn't write these.
Wow.
I didn't write these. Also, I don't often go in and look at like the number of downloads and things like that. The All About Nothing podcast has been really ticking up in numbers the past couple weeks. Like I'm happy for it. You know, I love to get engagement more, but like it's been really surprising just how many people are downloading the show. And it's not just here in South Carolina, or we get a lot of listeners in South Carolina, we get a lot in California, we get a few in Texas, North Carolina. Those are our 4 big states, but like Germany.
Where are you looking at the download numbers? This is all through Captivate. You're looking at those numbers. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't include Apple Podcast downloads.
So they do. So it does include
Apple
Podcasts.
I thought it did not.
It doesn't include YouTube.
I thought it was Apple. I thought Apple is a closed loop that you can't get access. For some reason, I remember reading that Apple Podcast does not publish their download numbers.
It's entirely possible that could be correct. I'd have to go.
So that means those numbers could be double, because Apple Podcast is the number 1 out there.
Yeah, it's the most popular. Also, Jess wrote on here. She also said that my son told me yesterday he's getting married in my backyard. That's how we do it in the South, Bill. Okay. But your daughter's in New York.
Right. She's getting married at a hotel. This is how New Yorkers do it.
It's how they do it in Boston too.
In the South, they get married and buried in the backyard. I know that for a fact. That's not. I actually looked that up. There is no regulation whatsoever about burying grandma in your backyard. Did you know that?
I didn't.
There is no law that says you have to go through a funeral service. There's no law that says you have to be put in a casket. You are allowed to dig a ditch in the backyard, throw grandma's body in there, as long as she's got a death certificate stapled to her forehead or something like that. It's legal. There is nothing that says you can't bury bodies in your backyard as long as the bodies were produced legally.
I'm not super comfortable with that, because
had a discussion with a funeral director about this, and as we explored kind of the darker areas of the law of South Carolina, you could create your own little Indian burial gravesite in your backyard.
Do you have to get any permits or anything for this, or
no?
You just
there is no permit. You can go to the county clerk or the city clerk and says, "I want a dead body burial permit, please."
I guess so. In my head, I'd think that there would have to be some sort of law enforcement involved to determine the death and the cause of death and time of death and things like that.
Okay, so again, you got to be dead legally.
But then you can take possession of the body and be like, "This is going in front of my greenhouse."
Yeah, you can stuff it, mount it, prop it up. There is no law about what you do afterwards.
Ami has decided that is now content for her show. She wants to get an episode with a funeral director.
Tell her this is a great topic to dive into. I sat in an hour seminar where the lady went through the mechanics of, all right, so your loved one died, what do you do next? Because who gets training on that? Who hears the rules? You always figure it out in your worst moment of grief. So why not learn about it ahead of time and just talk about the mechanics of that, the mechanics of death? And talking to this funeral director who's been in the business for 30 years in South Carolina, got to learn a thing or two. That was fascinating.
Worst timeshare pitch ever.
The only thing that she did not know was whether you had to disclose said bodies to the next owners. Oh. So as you go to sell your property, do you have to let them know? Like, is it the law you have to let somebody know a potential buyer that somebody was murdered in your house? Is that a law? I don't know.
It is. I don't think it is. So I've got some real estate friends. I'm going to ask that question. But I think that I don't think that they have to disclose it unless the question is asked, and that may just be a technicality. But I don't know for certain that they have to disclose it if it's not asked. That's like, because
the law is weird. Oh, another weird thing I found out about the law just 2 days ago. So I sit there and I look at every proposed bill that South Carolina lawmakers put out there. And there's thousands of them, almost 2,000 proposed laws. And I scan through them all and document them. Did you know that the South Carolina State Senate skipped bill number 666? They submitted a bill 665. They submitted a bill 667, 668, and 669. They skipped right over bill 666. Because they are superstitious. I want to get vulgar here. I want to earn our E rating, but it's the stupidest thing ever.
what a weird thing to get hung up on. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like hotels don't the hotels that go past 13 floors, they will not have a floor
Hey, I
13
worked for
as a superstition.
a national company that had warehouses all across the nation. And I was with them as we expanded from one warehouse to 15 warehouses. I mean, it was a period of great growth from New York all the way to Texas. And as we started creating these companies, these warehouses, that was company one, company two, company three. Guess what company number we skipped over?
I'm gonna guess 13.
13, right? We went from company 12 to company 14 because superstition is driving decision making. It's I was embarrassed, absolutely
Most
embarrassed.
most people most people that know me know that I don't bend to the idea of superstitions and stuff like that. And it's because if magic were real, everybody'd be doing it.
Right, right.
It's not, we leave those for Jesus and whatnot, right? But I can't think of anything offhand, but somebody will say good luck or whatever, and it's just like I roll my eyes, but I think I do it inside my head sometimes. But I am not a superstitious person. I
Wait a
do, and
minute. Did you just say you get offended when somebody tells you good luck to something?
not offended, but just sort of
Or you internally roll your eyes?
yeah, yeah,
I see.
or
That's too far. I mean, good luck is just kind of a phrase that I wish you well. Good luck,
yeah,
right?
it's
I
it's
wish you well.
it's a
It's
cliche.
not like may the luck of the Irish be with you and may Loki look in your favor. That's not the same thing. They're not actually wishing you luck. They're just wishing, they're hoping for the best for you. How can you roll your eyes on that? Now that's just pessimistic, man.
Well,
That's
look, I'm nothing if not pessimistic.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't, I know that like in baseball, the pitcher will not step over the foul, like they'll step over the foul line and not on the foul line if they're having a good game, or if they're having a bad game, they'll make sure not to step on it because that'll give them worse luck or whatever. So yeah, I my mind doesn't allow me to look at those things and give it any credence. So I don't know. I if I were a decent human being, then I would probably just go along with whatever it is. That's like astrology. I'll have someone will read my fortune for the day. My fortune, is that the right word? Maybe it's not fortune. Whatever.
Your horoscope.
My horoscope
There you
for
go.
the day.
Yeah.
And I hear that. I hear one horoscope and then I'll hear another one. And sometimes it inspires me enough to actually go and look at them myself. And I go through and I'll read it and I'll be like, well, that one's exactly this. It's almost, it's not word for word, but essentially the same message for every single one of these.
So coming back to the South Carolina State Senate, I saw that as a completely missed opportunity. Like, what would Bill 666 be? You could have put something cool next to it, and it would have had instant recognition, gone to the top of the list in terms of awareness. It could have been some sort of anti-satanic church bill. In South
Oh,
Carolina,
for
they do
sure.
stuff like that.
For sure. Well,
Could have been cool.
we don't have any. Do we have any atheists in the South Carolina
We do. We do. We
legislature?
have everything in South Carolina.
No, in the legislature though.
Oh, in the legislature. Well,
Un-
no,
not admitted.
not that anybody would declare publicly. I don't think you could get elected as one in
Yeah,
that state legislature.
but atheist is not Satanism. Those
No.
are two completely different things. But I although if you're gonna have atheism right now is or the lack of attaching yourself to any specific religion is now the number one religion in the United States. It's crested past 51%. So you would think at some point we would potentially be electing people that claim undominion or non-attachment to a god, or whatever, Christianity or Buddhism or any of those. So you get things in the mail. I get things in the mail. I wanted to ask you.
Wow, what a coincidence, man.
This
Wow,
is
you too? We have so much in common.
this is the
Can I dye your beard black?
this is going to be the second hardest segue I've ever made. Do you remember when you used to get these packets of basically of these little postcards that were just wrapped in a? Did you ever get these?
No. Do they have like nudie pictures on them? What
No,
is it?
no nudie pictures. They're selling things like these decks. They got
Oh.
concrete repair.
So is it an entire collection
It
that comes
is
at once, or is this just over time that they
uh,
build up?
when these used to come, I remember them coming pretty frequently. But yeah, it is absolutely just like a ridiculous number of these. I mean, even like used piano clearance sales. I mean, like there is a ridiculous HVAC, but like I remembered getting the like as a kid, we would get a packet of, I mean, it's thick. It's a thick packet. We would get a packet of these in the mail and we would go through them and look at them, and because we were little kids and we thought it was
And I see
interesting.
you've continued that hobby as an adult. Boy, what a fascinating life you live.
I
Collecting all your little mail postcards there.
I feel Mosquito Joe. I
You never
feel
know.
like
One day you may need a used piano. So you hold on to that stuff.
we've got one downstairs. In fact, it's a little early, but I could probably put a remote microphone down there, and my daughter Emmeline would be down there just hacking away on the keyboard.
Aw.
It's very cute, and she is showing some talent. But I was just gonna say, but like this is what internet marketing used to be. These
Right.
were these were the old pop-up ads. And and I enjoyed going through them just to see if there was anything interesting in them, but and there isn't.
I'm going to
Although
do another hard pivot. Since you just said there's nothing interesting about them, I'm going to move to a different topic.
fair enough.
So we need to talk about the elephant in the room. All right. You went through some trauma over the past 5 days since our last episode.
Did I tell you about
As
that?
Yeah, you had a TikTok video removed
Oh,
that upset you deeply. So I want to talk about that because this rocked you to your core. I mean, this occupied your thoughts, I think, disproportionately
couple
compared to other
days.
things in your life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it bothered you. Why don't you summarize what happened for
It
the
did bother
audience that
me.
may not know?
So you and I last week's episode, you came to the acknowledgement of the potential that the attempt on the current president's life when he was a candidate could potentially have been staged based on the evidence that is available today. Because we have not seen any real information about the 20-year-old shooter or the 22-year-old shooter, however old he was. We know his name, we know where he's from, we know his parents were Trump supporters, or at least one of his parents was a Trump supporter. But we don't have any details about a profile that was created. We don't have any information about.
Like by this point, we knew everything about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Sure.
We knew everything about John Hinckley Jr. You know, we knew more about them than we knew about our own parents.
Yeah.
Because the media was all over it. Here, it's been very silent, eerily silent.
So in the post that I put up on TikTok, which also on YouTube didn't get many hits, didn't get many views. It fell into a weird algorithm state because normally what we put up gets 2,000 views, a bunch of likes. We'll get some comments on some of the stuff if people don't like it, but this one didn't get anything really on any of the YouTube channels. But on TikTok, they decided to take it down. And I went through and watched the video several more times.
And you got a strike against you, a community strike, right?
Yeah. On our All About Nothing, we did get a community strike, and I there was nothing in it that was said that was you had not passed judgment. I had not passed judgment. We just acknowledged that based on what we know of biological physiology, whatever, that you take a chunk out of your ear, it's not growing back.
Well, I did make the claim that Trump was actually a lizard alien from outer space to be able to regenerate. I did make that claim, and maybe that's what triggered things. I don't know.
But that's hyperbole. That's not
okay. No, I was being serious, but okay, you call it hyperbole. That's fine.
That's fair. Okay, so Bill thinks that Trump is a space alien lizard man.
It answers a lot of questions, buddy. It answers a lot of questions.
Blanks. It does fill in some blanks.
So they took it down. You got the notice, and then you actually were motivated to get back on the air and record a retort to the overlords at TikTok.
I did.
Wow. And you looked visibly shaken.
Well,
you looked upset. You looked mad. That wasn't an act. You're not an actor. You were truly letting your emotions out. It was raw. It was real.
It is frustrating that something that for about 10 hours had gotten more than 1,000 views, almost 100 likes, had been reshared multiple times. I think that's the thing that upsets me the most, is the resharing. Is that if it gets reshared, so if you reshare it and then they take it down, it's taken down for everybody that reshared it. But there wasn't anything in there that was offensive. There wasn't anything in there that would have, in my opinion, made
So
someone.
what was the reason that they gave? They did put up the particular part of the community code that you violated. What was it?
It was based on truth. It was based on let me see. So my guess is that somebody reported it. And so let me pull it up real quick, and I'll disclose exactly what it says went on, because it's still on here. But they're listing it as integrity and authenticity, which is a weird one for me, because first of all, I hold true. We have no integrity.
So let's do this. Let's record something right now for a TikTok edit, right? And here's what we're going to talk about. We are going to focus solely on Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield.
Okay.
I watched that boxing match. I watched Mike Tyson bite a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear off. And algorithm, I'm talking only about Evander Holyfield. Nobody else in the world who might have sustained an ear injury. Only about the boxer Evander Holyfield. 20 some years ago, Mike Tyson bit a chunk of his ear off. I think it was even more than 25 years ago. And the piece of the ear was right there on the floor, on the mat of the boxing ring. And to this day, you can see a side profile of Holyfield. You can see the chunk of his ear is missing. It's still a dent in his ear. It did not grow back. Algorithm, I am not talking about anybody else but Evander Holyfield. Look at that. There it is. Barrett, you're brilliant. Brilliant to be able to pull that up that fast.
It's undeniable. It is undeniable.
Ears do not grow back. And again, I am talking only about Evander Holyfield. Nobody else. Am I speculating on, commenting on, hypothesizing on? I'm just noting human biology, which can grow back. Skin can grow back. Other pieces of the body cannot grow back ear parts.
Right.
And that was just a bite.
Yep.
And let's see if they take this down. Let's see if your MAGA viewers get so upset that they want to take down a video talking about a black athlete. You racist. There, I said it. Let's see if they take that video down. I declare to the algorithms, if you take that video down or you flag that video or you complain about that video, you are racist because you don't want to hear about successful black athletes. Okay. Rant over.
All right. We are going to clip that, and I will post it on our TikTok and other social medias, and we'll see how long it is, how many likes it's going to get, how we potentially will affect the algorithm. We'll see.
And if I disappear afterwards, all right, if I am suddenly gone from this earth, you'll know why. You may even want to check my backyard.
Okay.
All right. So
share your location with me. I'll make sure that we'll keep track of that.
Take a look for any fresh spots of grass.
There it is.
Looks freshly planted.
Well, Thursday
you may find me there.
Thursday's episode, Bill will be back with us, but he'll be back with us from the road, as long as the internet signal provides.
Yeah, we'll have to play that by ear. See how good a hotel internet Wi-Fi is. You know, one thing you never commented on, and I'm actually kind of disappointed because I was proud of it. You never commented on what's in the background behind me on the left-hand side there.
So on your left-hand side, I see Tried by War. I see...
Or maybe my right-hand side. I don't know which way you're seeing it, if it's flipped or not.
I see your bobblehead, but maybe...
Between me and the bobblehead.
There's a you put up some lights. I
know. I was so proud that I found some lights to be glowing behind my head so I can match your glowing lights, and you didn't even acknowledge it. You are the worst wife ever. Let me tell you, I went and got something new done, and you just carried on as if nothing changed. So I was quite hurt. I mean, it's right there. next to my fully shaped ear, undamaged, normal human ear that has not had any piece of it taken out. I'm talking just about me, algorithms, my ear. That's it. Nobody else's ear. I am not speculating on anybody else's ear but mine and the black athlete, Evander Holyfield. Those are the only ears we were talking about in today's show.
Well, on that bombshell, I think we're going to wrap it up. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in, listening, watching. Don't forget, you can follow Mr. Bill Kemmler here at politicalbillsc. You can follow me at barrettgruber across all of social media. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. And that's what we do. We entertain. I think we're entertaining each other, to be honest with you. I think it's mostly
when we hit, we're good, but most of the time we suck, as that 3-star reviewer pointed out. So
3 stars.
You have to wade through buckets of shit to find the golden nugget. That's our show.
Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.